Okay, welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today we have a Sanyo TP-1010. This is a semi-automatic belt-driven turntable from the late 70s. This one's kind of interesting because it has a little bit of a backstory, and one of the things I do enjoy about repairing these older turntables is that a lot of times the owner comes by with a bit of a backstory. The gentleman who dropped this off, I guess the brother died and this was his turntable and he inherited it and now he would like it repaired. And as I say that, he kind of said at any cost. Well, that's kind of scary because I would never take advantage of anyone, but you really should never say that to your repairman, especially if you've got an unscrupulous repairman who might decide to put tons of money into something like this. This turntable's very decent. They're nice. They're kind of plasticky, but they perform well. Feet are very suspended on this, so you get good vibration absorption. I've never had any issues repairing these. I've always found them to be a decent turntable, but you don't want to spend a ton of money on something like this. I mean, it might be a $150 turntable when it's all cleaned up and working properly. Having said that, I don't know what's wrong with it except for one thing. And this is what I saw when it came in. The gentleman mentioned that it was scraping. This is not the original platter mat. So if you listen here, the platter is rubbing on the plinth. That's not good. And if you look over here, there's some serious scrapage marks. It's actually dug in a good millimeter or two on this side. So that's telling me something has sunk down. Now the plinth is not suspended because the feet are the actual suspension on this turntable, but we're gonna have to get this thing open to see what has happened. Is the spindle, has it fallen down? Has it crushed down? I don't know. So we're gonna find that out, and then we're going to give it a general service as we always do. And we're going to check the stylus. It's all original. So this might be a case where we probably have a stylus that needs to be replaced, or a new cartridge. That's something that I'll tell a customer if it requires it or not. But we'll give it a once over. But the main thing is we need to find out what is going on with the spindle here and why this platter has sunk down so much. So the first thing we'll do is actually we will remove this again. And this thing looks like it's been sitting in a basement for a long time. It's pretty dirty. They took the belt off when I guess the story is they went, this guy and his friend, they went to try it, and obviously it made that horrible noise. So they took the belt off to check the belt. The belt seems fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's elastic. It's a little bit misshapen because of the way it's probably been sitting. That will straighten out. If you have a belt like this and you want to get it back to perfectly round, you can put that in the microwave in boiling water for 2 or 3 minutes, and it'll heat up just enough that the rubber should go back to its natural state, which is round or oval or whatever. Okay, so we're going to put our dust cover back on so we can flip this thing over. I'm not even going to turn it on and give it a try yet, because unless we find out what's going on with that platter situation, it's not really worth turning it on. Okay, got a bunch of screws here. I'm going to take those off. I'll be right back. Okay, screws are out. You don't need to remove these 5 actually. Lift this out. It's got shielding on the back side. Not sure why that metal plate is there, just to keep this supported. Very odd. Doesn't smell particularly nice in here. All right, having a quick look on the inside. I really don't see why that is scraping. Has this collapsed? Is there a screw missing? Ah, there is a plastic post missing here. So I'm going to bring it down. Hang on a sec. If you can see there, I know it's hard to see, but this post right here is broken. So undoubtedly, instead of being supported, it collapses down when you put the weight of the platter. You can see it moving there. So looks like, oh, and that one's cracked. Look at that. Do you see that? Very cracked over there. So the screws aren't supporting us. So we got a bit of a job here. We're going to have to remove this entire plate. We're going to have to manufacture something and then get a screw through there. And you can see it's on this side. That's the scraping side. And it's on this side, right? So the scraping is going on over here, and we're missing a post there. Oh dear. Okay. Well, it's not impossible to repair. Probably get a few washers or something is what I'm thinking. And then maybe we can definitely need a screw to go through there. I wonder where that screw is. This one I'm thinking we can just repair with some epoxy. This one we're going to have to find something, I'm thinking washers here, to take up the slack and get this thing supported. And what's that? Okay. Anyway, let's go back up top. I think we can start a little bit of disassembly here. Just having a quick peek. Here's our main auto return area here, tone arm, and motor, transformer, audio cables. Here's our pitch controls over here. I think that's a speed selector switch. Yep. Reject button. And God, this thing's sticky. We got our strobe lamp and some potentiometers for speed, a couple capacitors. So nothing too crazy. Here's our main activation micro switch. So, all right, so I guess the first thing we want to do here is, I don't think we need to remove it completely from the turntable, but we definitely want to get it just up and out. So let's do that. Some grounding cables here. There. So this acts as a ground. The ground comes in here on this side from the amplifier, and it carries on through this plate, and then it grounds over here to the motor. This plastic obviously doesn't need to be grounded, but if you look here, this is interesting, a ground runs to this area here to where the lamp is, and that is just cardboard with some aluminum foil on it to keep the ground. Okay, so I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to gently, I think I'm not going to use my power screwdriver here because, okay, we know this one's broken, and you can see that there was no, like, zero resistance there. So we know this post is broken, but it's still there, which is good. It'd be nice if we could find the broken piece that was here. Okay, let's continue removing this. So we got a screw and a washer here. And just a screw. And it's the same old story. You screw metal into plastic, eventually it's going to break. The plastic becomes brittle with age, and there's really nothing you can do. I have a feeling once we get all these screws out, we're probably going to find more of these posts that are broken. Here's our main ground. That is okay. Get this one out here. there's two with washers. I'm just going to put a little mark here so remember that these are the ones with the two washers. Although I do go back and check my footage when I forget stuff, which is great. If you're doing your own repairs, you don't have to record it, but take lots of pictures so you remember where stuff goes. You'd be surprised what you forget when you're working on something. It's holding the tone arm wires. There's your main ground. Okay. As long as we can flip this over a little bit. Is that moving? Oh, what was that? I'm going to remove this micro switch too. Let's get this out of the way. This screw back in for now. Okay. This is the whole tone arm. Oh, this is what that noise was. It's the anti-skating knob. We'll just put that aside. I really don't want to detach the tone arm if I don't have to. And, oh, here it is. I was just going to say, this looks like it's been glued before. These are a lot. Remember what I said about finding broken posts? Here's another one. I don't know which one this is. Is it this one? These have been glued before. I think that one goes there. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to find this one. Where are we? Well, here's pieces of it. More chunks of it here. That's really unfortunate. Although, there is a post here which supports this. So I think we're going to be okay trying to get some kind of washers on here or something. I'm not going to be able to glue this. This is all deteriorated. This plastic has become so brittle. It crumbles in your fingers here. The only place for that is in the garbage. It's the tone arm that's the problem. We got to take the head shell off. This is going to be a disaster if we don't. Okay, we have another broken one over here, like I mentioned, and there's the piece. Where are my tweezers? And here's this one. And it goes here. Like that. And these, is there glue on here? Maybe not. These are vital to supporting this side of the platter. This one I can put back. Epoxy that back. So we have our work cut out for us here. Just trying to see if any more are broken. This is okay. This one's okay. They're the most important ones because these are. This one, no, that one's okay. These are okay because they're more flat. these are supported as well, but I really don't understand why it's compressing so much. The platter's not heavy. I guess if you're missing a couple supports, you're kind of done. There's a hole here and a hole here, and I don't believe they were being used. I'm just curious if these will thread. They are threading. I wonder if we can use these as alternative mounting points, and then we don't have to worry about gluing this stuff. That one threaded, and there's one right here. I'm kind of creating the thread as I go, but you get the idea. And well, that should support this, and then we don't have to worry about gluing and all the rest of it, because it's only, 4 centimeters or 1.5 inches away. I'm thinking that should be able to support the weight. Okay, I am going to pause and ponder over my strategy here, and then I'll come back and let you know what I've decided to do. Okay, welcome back. So this is what I've been doing. I have reattached that post with some glue. I have re-glued that post. This one I am shaving down, get it nice and flat. So what I'm thinking here is I'm rethinking this. My thought was maybe drilling through to the top of the plinth, putting a bolt through here that hopefully doesn't interfere with the platter. I don't think it will. Putting something in here, like I mentioned, like a nut or something, whatever, to take up the extra space, epoxying in place, running that bolt through here, and then attaching our grounds here and putting a nut on this side, and that should keep it up. Also, those areas that we threaded together, this one and this one, they're going to be populated by a screw now, so we're going to have these new posts supporting it. This will be supported, this will be supported, and hopefully that'll take up the slack. The rest of it is fine. So that's my thought. I am going to rethink this bolt situation because it looks like it's in the high place here of the top of the plinth. I'm just wondering how much clearance there is between the platter and the plinth here. So I'm just rethinking that, and I'll be back. Okay, I think we are good. And just show you what I've done here. I have drilled a hole through, and there it is, that little hole there. This is the bolt that's going to go through it, and there's our nut. What I've done to take up the space is I've just tacked on a couple nuts. I also had to chisel out this little round thing here just to get that nut in so that the hole goes all the way through. So that is perfect height for the rest of it, and as you can see, all the other holes are sitting nice and flush. So I'll get back up on the mount and we'll put this back together, and then we'll go about servicing. Actually, what we'll do is we'll flip it over and just make sure that we're spinning okay. Most of this is reversible. I just tacked those nuts down with a little bit of crazy glue. It doesn't matter because once the bolt comes through and the nut is fastened, friction will hold that together. Okay, so let's just pause and get back on the mount. All right, let's get this thing fastened. So we need a couple extra screws for these 2 extra places that we, this one and this one that we threaded in. And they're going to help support this as well. We'll put our nut in last, and we'll get our grounds reinstalled here. This was one of the posts that I glued, so I'm going to be very careful not to over tighten. I almost feel like I want to put a drill through and put another bolt through this one too, because it's very loose. Hang on a second here, I got one idea before I do that. I'm just wondering if I could use a star washer, if I have one. Hang on, let me go through my nuts and bolts, and I'm going to see if I have a star washer. Okay, found one. Still not sure if it's going to bite. I just want it to bite the metal a little bit. It doesn't have to be super tight. No, that's not working. I think what I'm going to have to do is drill through this one as well and do this strategy. But in this one, I don't have to put anything underneath because the post is solid. Let me grab my drill and we'll go through that one together. Okay, we're going to take this in stages. Next drill bit. I believe this was the final one. All right. Now, just out of curiosity here, will this go through? And it does. Okay. So just give me a minute. I got to find if I have another one of these. And if I do, we're in business. If I don't, I'm going to have to go to the hardware store. Be right back. So we did all that drilling for nothing because what we didn't see is as soon as I put the first drill bit through there, the entire post collapsed. So I'm going to have to do the same thing I did with this one and take up the slack with a couple nuts. And I'm going to do that right now, and I shall return once that's done. Okay, I give this side the same treatment as this side. So now it's supported, and hopefully we can go about fastening this thing. Just line up all our screws. We'll leave these two for last because they're going to be our bolts. And we've got our two extra screws. I'm just going to loosely fit them for now. So these are the two that we cut new threads on. I'm just using a couple chassis machine screws off any piece of equipment that you might find. Just put them in loosely for now. And then these two had the washers. And this one over here was reattached with some glue. Make sure they're all the same kind of length here. I don't want to, you know what? This is a longer screw for this one because it has a washer. So this is a longer screw here. Okay. They have to reach deeper. I don't know why there's a washer here. And we still don't know if putting through that bolt on these two posts is going to interfere with the platter. We may be in for a big surprise. Okay, this is a long one. And I am not torquing these down in any way, shape, or form yet. Okay. Did I miss this one already? See, I missed this one. And that one over there. They both clamp these cables. Okay, this is a ground, and this is the support for the tonearm cables. I'll put the ground down first, like that. Get that into position. And then we have this one over here, which supports a cable as well. And our micro switch has to go back. Okay. And I have one left. Oh, I have one left because there was one over here. So we're not going to use that one. And now we're going to put our bolts through. Are you seeing this okay? So we got two, it looks like grounds here. So we'll just lift that, pop it through our new hole. And once again, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to put a lock washer, hopefully it fits, and then our nut. I don't know if that lock washer is going to do it or not. And I can't see. It should. It should. Okay. Just need to grab just a couple threads here. There we go. And our second one over here. And this one's got the ground on it. So put our ground down. Very hard to do when you're supporting the table as well. Our lock washer and our nut. Okay. All right, I'm going to torque these down now. We'll torque down our new screws. I don't want to go too tight, just snug. This one is iffy. Here. And over here. Okay, now let me tighten these up. I have to lift the table, and I got to get pliers on here, and it's actually a Phillips yellow screw that I'm using. So let me get those tightened, and then what we'll do is we'll flip the table over, and we'll see if our platter no longer rubs. Okay, everything's tightened. I'm just going to put the base on temporarily. I'm not going to screw it down. Just like this. We're going to flip this over. We're going to get our platter. And hopefully these two don't touch. Or this is going to be an epic failure. Epic failure. I can tell that they are no longer, it's no longer rubbing over here, but you can hear it clunking on the screw heads. Damn. They're just too tall. There's just no, and you can see it right here where they're rubbing. One's rubbing here and one's rubbing there. All that work. I wonder if I can grind them down. I don't know how much clearance I need. That's the only problem. Really unfortunate. It looks like they're just touching. What do you think? We run the turntable like that? Okay. I'm going to try to grind down these screw heads here. This was a great idea. It's just unfortunate that we don't have enough clearance. So I'm going to get my Dremel out. And I'm just going to take these down. How much I have to grind them down, I have no idea. But I'm going to take them down quite a bit. And we'll see if that works. All right. We are going to try to grind these heads down just a little bit. I'm just going to do one at a time here. I'm just going to cover up the spindle there. I don't want the stone dust and metal particles to go in there. I don't think it'll be a huge problem, but get some better glasses. And we'll see how this tip does. I think I need a more aggressive grinding tip there to get this down a little faster. So I'm not going to bore you to tears watching me grind away. I'm sure that's an irritating sound as well. So I'm going to continue on with this, and we'll see if it'll actually work with these ground down. And then if that doesn't work, I think my last solution is just to remove these two screws altogether, because we did put those two new ones just a little bit further down, and I'm wondering if that's enough to support the weight of the platter. The only problem is that these are supporting a couple ground lugs, and we may have to lengthen those cables to get to the new locations, but I'm kind of hoping that this grinding will work first. The heat from the grinding is ever so slightly melting the top of the plinth here. Ouch, these are very hot. I think that's about as far down as I dare take them. Now I'm just wondering if they've loosened up a little bit, because it seems like the screw has melted into the plastic a little bit. But man, if this doesn't work, I really don't know what else to do other than to change out the screws. I mean, this is barely a millimeter off. So let's give it a try. Fingers crossed. Damn. We're rubbing somewhere. Feels like it's still rubbing on the... Now, again, I'm wondering if those screws have collapsed with the way they've fallen in. I'm just wondering if they need to be tightened. Hang on a second. Let me get the base off again and we'll tighten them. Ooh, the good news is they definitely have loosened. So maybe by tightening them back up, we will be okay. We'll bring the support back to this end. Just going to there's not a lot of square left on the screw up top, but yeah. Oh yeah, we're definitely tightening up big time. That's fully tightened. I don't know if I can get this one tightened or not. There's not a lot left with the screw here. I've ground off most of the... Oh, there we go. Ground off most of the little square. Then again, it could have just been metal particles in there as well. Okay, that looks better. See, we have another failure here. We're actually going to be okay now. Not even going to put the base back on. I'm just going to... Come on, baby. That's really weird. Seems to be spinning fine. It was grinding before. Huh. Spinning okay now. No friction whatsoever. There's not a lot of play, but I'm just wondering if it's kind of gotten to that spot now where it wants to spin freely. Okay, I'm going to go with this. And I'm going to continue to service the turntable. I think we're going to be okay. Maybe when we get the base on, it'll be even better. So as far as servicing underneath, let's take care of the basics here. We're going to clean these speed pots and the speed switch. I'm sure they were awful. This thing's been sitting forever. So we're going to use some F5 fader lube for potentiometers. I'm just going to work that back and forth. Use your 33 and 45 pitch controls. Goes back and forth. Okay, and lastly, let's just deal with our center spindle here. Screw, what's keeping this from coming out? I think we have to remove this one. One's tight, one's loose, one's just right. It's a bit weird. This was actually in pretty good shape. It's definitely has an oil in it. It's a bit smelly, but I'm just going to clean that off. Not very much oil in there. But I don't think we'll be putting a lot back in because it looks like a very tight bearing. Okay, some alcohol. I'm going to give this auto return cam a bit of a wipe too. This grease looks a little bit dried up. Sure there's enough of it in here. I'm going to continue cleaning that. Once I get the bearing back together, I'm going to give that a nice cleaning. Okay, what do I do with the bearing? There it is. So for oil, that's a pretty tight bearing. I'm going to use a lighter oil. I'm going to use this 3-in-1 stuff for electric motors. And just a couple drops. And then we'll put a little bit on the axle here. I guarantee you this is going to fight because it's that tight of a bearing. Oh yeah. So this one really wants to fight me. So I think a drop or two is more than enough on this one. There we go. Down she goes. You know what? I'm going to have to do that again because I have to put the top through, put the bearing, the axle in through the bottom here to get it back in. Like that. So I'm going to have to work it again. So let me just pause. I'll just finish up on the spindle here. I'm going to get that cam gear all cleaned up and re-lubed again with some synthetic grease. All right, put the platter back on. And seems to be fine. One thing I noticed is those two plates on the back side of that spindle mount. The second one acts as a lock so that when you pull up the platter, the spindle does not come out. So it is required. If you didn't have that, the spindle would come out every time you lifted up the platter. So it is required. Let's see here. Let's finish off our service. We'll take care of all the important maintenance items first. A little bit of machine oil, bottom side of the motor, 1 drop. Grab yourself a Q-tip, plug the machine in. I guess we're going to find out if the motor runs. Oh, yeah, it does. How's our switch? It works. Okay, so micro switch works. That's good. So we're going to want the motor to turn on. We'll turn it to 45. We'll crank the speed all the way up. Get a little bit of alcohol. Clean the motor pulley. Get off any belt residue, corrosion, dirt. It doesn't feel very smooth, I'm going to tell you that right now. Feels very rough. And when you get a pulley that's rough like that, get yourself a little bit of 2000 grit and just wrap it around the pulley. This motor has no torque. And you just want to gently polish the pulley. Man, I can't believe how torqueless this motor is. There we go. Totally smooth now. If there are bumps in the motor pulley, you're going to get speed issues. So just clean your motor pulley like that. All good. We can turn off the motor. And now we're going to clean the belt and the belt path. Now we don't know what kind of life this belt has had. It seems okay. I'm just going to clean it with a little bit of alcohol. I'm just going to run it through some 100%. Get off all the dirt and grime. The belt itself feels good. It is elastic, so shouldn't be any problems. Well, it wasn't too dirty. And with that same paper cloth, you want to clean the inside of the platter where the belt rides. So get that all nice and clean. Once that's clean, you know that your belt and motor and pulley will have good friction. Okay, I think we can now test it for speed. Okay, here we go. Now it's going to want auto return. Okay, 33. Speed is pretty good. Locked in there. Nice and stable. Pitch controls are nice and clean. Let's go to 45. And 45 is good as well. So holding good speed, and most importantly, it's not rubbing. Auto return's working. Now, one thing I noticed is this this queuing. Oh man. So the queuing has absolutely no queuing fluid left. Now, I am not going to do that on screen here. I just released a video that goes over how to take care of queuing fluid. So you can check that out, or I'll link it in the description for you. So I put that anti-skate back down. I'm going to flip this thing back over. I'm going to replace the queuing fluid. And what kind of cartridge do we have here? Looks like some kind of Sanyo unit. Boy, this is old. Definitely original. Wow. I'm going to clean that stylus and see if we've got any workable stylus left. It's filthy. But I'll keep it off for now. I'm going to take care of this this arm, make sure the queuing fluid is all right. So we've got nice slow drop. And then when I'm done that, I'll meet you back up and we'll have a sound test. Okay, we're ready for a sound test. But this is the next day. I was getting a little bit more scrapage on this side. It wasn't as prominent as when we first started. But what I did is I lowered the height of the post that I created with those nuts just a little bit. And that seemed to bring this side of the table up. I know it sounds like you're lowering it, but you're bringing it up. But that's just the way it works. And I seem to have found the sweet spot now. We're no longer getting any scrapage. I guess I should put the queuing up. And it's the table is balanced now, which is good. I also adjusted the speed pots, and like I mentioned, I replaced the queuing fluid, so it's going nice and smooth now. And let's do a little sound test. Sounds good. The needle's still got quite a bit of life in it, unbelievably. And the auto return is working. It's moving nice and smoothly, and everything is working great. This was quite the challenge. A lot of things were going wrong. It almost seemed like every time I repaired something, something else would break. Had an issue with the auto return lifting. There's a lever in there that had to be bent a little bit just to get it to lift again. And I think that happened once I changed the queuing fluid. I may have, when I removed that lever, I may have bent it a little bit. The metal's really, really soft. So I bent it back, and now I'm getting lift at the end, as you just saw. So I'm going to call this one done. So another turntable success here. Hopefully the owner enjoys this for many years to come. This is the Sanyo TP-1010 semi-automatic belt drive turntable. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.